You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on the Mo Kelly Show, it's Tiffany Hobbs, the viral load. She'll speak of all the viral things social media can bring. Facebook, Insta, X, TikTok, the viral load with Tiffany Hobbs. Viral load, viral load, the viral load. Viral load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI Mo Kelly with Tiffany Hobbs. Is now time for the viral load.
So if you enjoy ketchup like I do, but only on certain foods, then you may consider yourself to be a ketchup snob. What do I mean? Well, there are certain brands of ketchup that are synonymous with quality. And the main brand that comes to mind probably is Heinz. Now, Heinz also has very descriptive and very obvious insignia. You notice it, you understand what you're looking at. Their branding is off the charts and has been for close to 100 years. But something is happening and Heinz has taken notice. At your local restaurant or eatery or fast food place, whatever it may be, you'll often see a Heinz bottle on your table or on the counter at the place. But what you don't know is that inside of that ketchup bottle is not always Heinz brand ketchup, even though that Heinz bottle is on the table or counter. And there's a YouTuber who decided that he was going to take the opportunity to let you know that you are being frauded. Facebook user Man Behaving Dadly, what a name, posted a useless but slightly interesting fact that Heinz is so tired of restaurants and eateries refilling their bottles with this non-Heinz ketchup that they have decided, or that they have created a new border detection method using their bottles. On their bottle at the top is the Heinz colored, kind of like a strip that goes across the bottle. And the way you know that you're actually using real Heinz ketchup is once that bottle starts to become depleted and you can see kind of the clear through of the bottle, if the strip at the top of the bottle on the plastic on the outside is not the exact color as the ketchup or vice versa, that is not Heinz ketchup. You might have a darker color, you might have something else. It has to match up perfectly. So Heinz has alerted its customers through this really crafty way that this is really Heinz ketchup or you are being frauded. And if you are being frauded, Heinz wants you to demand that their product is used in stores and cafes.
I gotta be honest. Never in my life have I cared. I know this is a thing. It's a real thing. It's turned into a big thing, but I've never said, hey, is this really Heinz 57 or, Heinz this or Heinz that? Is it ketchup? Is it red? What I'm more concerned with is the consistency, because a lot of restaurants, whether they call it Heinz or not, it's runny and it says to me like it's watered down. And that is more important to me than whether it's the original Heinz brand of ketchup.
I agree with you. There's nothing like opening that ketchup and trying to squirt a bit onto your fries and having it splatter everywhere because it's watered down. I'm with you. Consistency over color. But Heinz is telling you it's also taste and quality over anything. And to you, they want you to know that Heinz is above all. So you can be a snob if you want. That's how you're going to detect whether or not you have a true Heinz product.
All right. Now we know.
Another day, another simulation, Mo Kelly. Another day, another simulation. And this time it's from a user we actually have covered before by the name of Zach D. Films. He is a YouTuber who is very well known for making these digital simulations, one of which we talked about as far as being caught in the mouth of a whale. Well, today, this particular story is about cremation. Whatever you choose to do at end of life care for end of life care is your personal business, but there are some statistics about the more popular or more used methods for burial. You have the eco-friendly, natural burials where people are putting themselves or being put into biodegradable coffins. You have the pod burial. You can turn yourself into a tree. There are lots of new trendy ways to go out in style, if you will. But the most popular alternative to just a natural in the ground burial remains as cremation. And cremation, as you know, is the process by which a body is reduced to ash due to intensely high heat. Well, YouTuber Zach D Films recently uploaded a short video that has gone viral. It shows a simulation of what happens to the body exactly at the moment of cremation. You might know a bit about it, but what you might not know is what is going viral according to Zach D Films users. And what happened is users have found out and have been very surprised that once a body is reduced to ash, a magnet is then used to remove any metal objects like surgical pins, hidden piercings, and dental implants. They run a large magnet over the pile of ash, and on that magnet then is attracted your loved one's metal fillings, again, piercings and other things that might have been in the body or on the body that you don't know about. That is going viral. People are discussing it just in time for Halloween. It's very macabre. It's quite gruesome and grotesque to some, but it makes for very popular conversation online on places like Reddit and on YouTube.
Yeah, given that my father was cremated, I learned a lot more about that process than I ever wanted to learn, including how they have to remove pacemakers because they may explode during the cremation process. So, yeah, I understand why it would be eye-opening for a lot of people, but the more you learn, the less you want to know, really.
I agree with that. There are some things I could have gone without learning. This story was one of them. For our next story, this is kind of from the file of, you didn't know that? Are you kidding? It's another airplane seat hack, and it has the internet going crazy because a mom has disclosed a way to get an entire row of seats to yourself. I knew about this before it went viral. I'm now upset that more people are catching on because what it means is that exclusivity of knowing the hack is going to become so popular that the hack will no longer exist. There's a woman named Jess Darrington. She's an Idaho-based creator of a platform called Where is Briggs. She specializes in travel tips for parents with kids under 4. And she shared a viral seating hack that has amassed over 8.1 million views on TikTok. What Darrington said is that you can select an aisle seat and a window seat in a single row, leaving the middle seat open. Again, you can select an aisle seat, say you're traveling with family, or even by yourself if you want to do that, I guess. But usually it's with family. Select an aisle seat and a window seat. So now that middle seat is vacant. She says that, and this is what went viral, that most people are not going to want to situate themselves in a middle seat. Most people, especially if people are flying with others. Therefore, when that middle seat is left open, you very well may be able to claim the entire row to yourself. And Darrington said that while this method is not foolproof, surprise, surprise, Captain Obvious there. It has worked for her many times, and on numerous flights, no one has booked that middle seat, including one 11-hour flight to Amsterdam, which she and her family then had the entire row to themselves for. So again, she said she's tried this hack numerous times. It has worked, but in the event that it doesn't work for you, don't be mad at her, but you can try it. And if you do, you say that, hey, this woman, Darrington, Jess Darrington, Where is Briggs, gave you that hack.
Or you could
Captain Obvious.
just pay for, a first class seat or something. You can just be done with it.
Just pay for an exit row,
Yeah.
or pay for something. Why? This isn't very surprising or avant-garde. But again, it's going to allow people to try this, which is going to irritate the rest of us who just want a normal flight.
When we come back, we'll have the second portion of the Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now it's time for the Viral Load with Tiffany. Live on KFI's Later with Mo Kelly. She'll talk about the toughest on social media. The Viral Load with Tiffany Hobbs.
KFI, Mo Kelly, Tiffany Hobbs. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Now it's time for part 2 of the Viral Load.
A group of teenagers made an unexpected and gruesome discovery while creating an innocent TikTok video on a local beach. ... Where is this story going? What did these teenagers uncover? Well, 3 teenagers were filming videos on Alki Beach or Alki Beach in West Seattle. So you Seattle people, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. I'm sure you'll let me know. But they were on a beach in West Seattle, and this actually took place in 2020. But as is the nature of viral videos, many times they reappear years later because someone has gotten wind of the story, shared it, and now it is being shared multiple times over. Well, these teenagers were climbing down onto a rocky part of the beach, just trying to get camera footage and sharing what they were doing that day on this beautiful day. And they spot a suitcase. They go up to the suitcase because now we have content, and that content is going to involve unearthing what's in, this suitcase. We got to open it up. We got to film it. And who knows what's in it, but it's going to make for good content. As they get closer and closer to the suitcase, one person says, "It stinks." That should have been a red flag right there. But they're teenagers. They don't have red flags. They just kept going. They get closer and closer, and as they get closer, the smell grew worse. And when they opened the suitcase, they found something wrapped in what looked to be a black garbage bag. They weren't sure what it was, if it was food or something else, but they said that the smell smelled sinister. One group member actually called the police to have them accompany the group as they were filming footage because they were unsure as to what they were finding. But they knew that something was amiss, something was wrong. But you don't put your camera down because you got to get content. It was later confirmed that what was inside of the suitcase was, in fact, human remains. And firefighters who descended upon the area went on to find other body parts in even more discarded bags in the same area of the beach. After identifying the body, which was then determined to be 2 bodies, a couple, police later were able to name their suspect as being the landlord of this couple. And this landlord was eventually charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, and he was found guilty after a jury trial back in December of 2022. But again, this story has now grown new legs and is going viral because these teenagers accidentally solved a murder case. What do you think about that, Mo?
Look, it's amazing what the internet can do and what social media can do. And it never ceases to amaze me when you have stories like these where I think if not for the power of social media and information available, these stories don't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And they weren't looking for notoriety. They were just enjoying their day. But the happenstance of it all, the byproduct of it all is a cold case becomes solved. For our final story, if you are a reality show watcher, you might watch something called Married at First Sight. I don't watch it, but I definitely have seen a clip of it. And a lot of these clips go viral. And that's how I learn about many of these reality shows, because someone has shared something about what they saw on the internet. Well, Married at Sight UK, which is just the counterpart to the US version, involves contestants getting married sight unseen. They first see each other when they go to the altar. The entire premise is basically like a blind date to the max. And I know we think of blind dates and we think of dating shows. This one is just, it's extremely controversial because of the reactions usually of the contestants on the show. And this particular clip, this particular story has all of the elements of that. So the groom in this case decided that he was going to try to trick his new bride, his bride-to-be, into proving her love for him. Not to say that appearing on a reality show is any qualifier of love, but he wanted to take this extra step and say, hey, we're getting married sight unseen. I need to make sure that this woman wants me for me and truly loves me. The jokes write themselves. What he did was he put in fake teeth. He kind of messed up his appearance to try and pull a prank on this bride-to-be. And once she got to the actual altar, she thought that it was not necessarily a prank. She thought that this person really did, in fact, look like that. And she burst into tears, yelling, "Oh my God." This gentleman then was left to respond to now what has become a viral clip of Married at First Sight UK, because not only was her response what we would expect, but it shocked him into believing that she was not the woman for him and that she was not interested in who he really was. And he then responds, "Are you all right? You okay?" She then responds with curse words, cursing about the teeth before the entire wedding was called off. Again, this went viral in the UK. It has gone viral in the United States as well. But it's just this idea of these exploitative reality shows, people trying to get things these pranks for laughs.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, this culture that has been created by these reality shows that I consider to be kind of gross, especially when you're coming to, coming into a topic of proving your love. It's just, again, it's just very exploitative and unbecoming. But it went viral, as many of these stories do. You might have watched it. If you do, good for you. That's what's going on in the viral world of online social media.
Thank you, Tiffany Hobbs. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Last hour, I was talking about how Americans now can renew their passport online, how much time it would save, how much easier it would be, especially if you have forethought to plan it out and not wait till the last minute. If you've ever gone through the hell of having to set an appointment and go down to the post office or wherever trying to get your passport renewed, I would say it's much worse than the DMV. Much worse. Much worse than trying to get your Social Security card. You just don't want to do it. Doing it online would make it easier for you and your family. Then Mark Ronner was talking about his horror stories of having to get documents. And I said, oh, you don't know the horror story about getting documents until you've heard Tawala's story about his documents.
Hold my beer. No, seriously. Forever and a day growing up, I'd worked at Taco Bell. I worked at McDonald's, Ralph's for a little bit. Soup Plantation, Jamba Juice, 21. I worked all over the place. Even at one point worked for the postal annex at Pasadena City College. But when I turned 18, I went to get my driver's license. And beforehand, I did not have a California ID. So I didn't have any real identification except for my Social Security card.
That's key.
I went to get my driver's license and was denied. Why? Because it was determined that I was actually not a U.S. citizen. Yes, because my parents, this is key, my parents who are both American citizens.
Wait a minute.
Mom from Texas, dad from Chicago. They went to Africa and were living for a time and had established dual citizenship. Well, I was born in Tanzania. I was born via their dual citizenship, which made me actually African, because they consider that, well, your parents, while in Africa, were African, and so you're African.
But I thought that since they were American citizens, child of American citizens.
Not born abroad. So, had to go through 3 years of bureaucracy hell. I'm talking going to the consulate, going to the federal building down on Wilshire, back and forth for 3 years. And actually, it took just, I think, 1.5 years, 2 years to get a copy of my birth certificate sent from Tanzania, because that's how long it took my mother to find someone who still lived where we were staying or where I was born to be able to send it over a year after that. And finally, the only way that I actually got it is by going through the immigration department and actually coming across one individual working there who took mercy on us and said, you know what? I would have to send you back to line G, which is like a 11 day wait, but I'm going to take care of this right. I'm going to stamp this right now. And I had to swear in and all of that. It was not fun, but that was 3 years of trying to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. And now I absolutely want to get my passport, because when we went on the cruise, I only have my naturalized birth certificate, and watching my son, who has his passport, just walk on through, just do. And then you have me stopped. And then they like, hold on 1 second. And they walk over to a counter and they're both looking at it, looking at my birth certificate, and then looking at me. And they're kind of looking at it and kind of nodding at each other and looking over at me crazily. And then they say, come here, sir. They say, okay, you can go. I'm like, what's happening? Is it about to deport me or something? What is happening?
No.
Yes.
Well, you win. Listen, I could have saved you 3 years. Here's what you do, Tawala. You go to a graveyard and you find somebody who died as an infant the same birthday as you or close enough.
That shouldn't be hard.
And then you just forge it. Just that's what they do in the movies.
That's only mildly illegal.
That's what well, you didn't.
Oh,
you
I
didn't
didn't
mention
know
it had to be legal, but if you've ever read,
okay,
Mark, where were you back when I needed your criminal expertise?
reading those books that show you how to do it.
Okay, so wait. So when you got your various jobs in fast food, you show them your social security card and what?
Oh, that's it. I had a school ID. I had like my high school ID.
Did you have to like show 2 from this column or 3 from this column? Social security card and not birth certificate?
No, hey, look, we're talking like the 80s, early 90s. Once you get one job, you just go job to job to job to job to job. You have a social security number. That's all you need. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's like, how do you give someone a social security number, but deny that they're a citizen of the United States? What the hell's going on around here? And it really and truly, it's sheer bureaucracy, because all of that time could have just been alleviated if one person would have taken the time to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to send you to hell and back. What I'm going to do is just go on and tell you to talk to Joanne. She's literally the booth right over there, and you can go there. But sitting there, going down to one office, waiting all day just to be told, oh, we can't do anything for you. You got to go to this office, and then this office tells you to go to that office, and so forth, so on. It's ridiculous. So look, I have a deep sympathy and understanding for individuals trying to legally become citizens here in the U.S. It is really and truly a problem. It is. But I did not just skip the line and just, not show up to appointments and keep on, because I could have kept on working. I didn't have to have a driver's license.
Is your inner Donald Trump coming out?
What? No, I'm just saying. Look, you got to get the pathways to citizenship are arduous and they are hellish. But if we were to just open up more cubicles down there, I'm sure it would be a lot smoother. And you would probably have a lot more people legally immigrating into this country. But seriously, that process is not cool at all.
You are opening up the wound of the Stockholm syndrome that you feel when these people, these bureaucrats, have such power over at least your next several hours, if not the rest of your life, when they cut you a break, how grateful you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. You start saying, thank you. Thank you. Some more, please.
See, I couldn't tell his story. He had to tell his story.
No, it's harrowing.
Yeah. Glad you're here, Tawala.
Hey, man, I tell you, anytime we would go in or get on a plane anywhere, I would always think to myself, is this the time that they say, like, you're not a citizen? You're going back to Africa. And I'm like, I don't speak any Kiswahili at all. I know a couple of phrases. Abadigadi. Jomo. Look, I can't speak.
It's okay. It's all right. Just drop you in immersive classes. You'll be fine in about 6 months.
That, I believe, is absolutely true.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
if you ever dropped into an environment, I was never closer to being fluent in Spanish than when I was in Spain for 3 weeks. You give up the idea of speaking English as an option.
And my first language is Swahili. It actually, when I first came to America and we were living with my grandmother, she always would tell me how I didn't speak a lick of the English and she didn't understand what I was saying. And I think my first word was meat, because it's like my first time really tasting meat was being around her and being around, the U.S. family. And she was like, first word was meat. She said, I don't understand what you're saying, but if you want this, you're going to say meat. This is meat. Yeah, that was my first word.
Learn something about you today, Tawala.
Yeah, man.
So we should just call you Meat from now on?
Okay. Damn it. This is not what this story was about.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Before we get out of here, Mark, I just have to tell you this because, when I hate to admit that Tawala was right.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is one of those times when I have to admit that you are right.
Must be killing you.
It is. It's very painful. Before we go, Lionsgate has inked a deal with an AI firm to mine its massive film and TV library and start creating content.
Yeah, I emailed myself that story
You
so
saw
I could
that.
feel extra outraged tonight.
And it's like, and that runs parallel to the story of Governor Newsom signing the law about, actors and actresses can't use their voice or their images for AI purposes to protect their, I don't know what it's called, but their
soul.
Yeah. So it can't be used against them in the creation of content. But then you have a company saying, oh, no, we're not going to use established real people. No, we're just going to create stuff on our own now. And we're going to do it out in the open because we already have the SAG deal in place. We know what we can and can't do. It's not saying that we can't just, wholly create new stuff and not use any actors at all.
It's so depressing and so vile. The thing that people have to keep in mind is that AI can't create anything without stealing from the people who were originally creators. It can't come up with stuff on its own out of the blue.
No, but it has enough baseline information now. It can approximate a lot of things. And a lot of movies and TV shows and content now, honestly, is not very good. Not very good. So when you have AI stuff out there, it can kind of mingle with the not very good stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure that's an argument for allowing it.
No, I'm just saying I can see where this is going. Not that I appreciate it, not that I think it should be allowed, but I'm saying they're doing it above board. Oh, yeah, it's like we're going to start creating stuff strictly AI.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff on the low end of the continuum, creative-wise, that could easily be confused with AI stuff because it's lousy. But I still think that this stuff needs to be regulated into oblivion.
I'm not so sure that we can at this point. I'm not so sure that the industry is going to allow itself to be regulated.
I think that you've zeroed in on one of our key differences is that you're one of these, unless I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but I perceive you as the, well, it's going to happen anyway, might as well lay back and enjoy it type. And I'm the do not go gently into that dark night type, rage against blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
Put it this way. I have to pick and choose my battles. And I don't think there's some battles you must fight even if you win. There's some battles you shouldn't fight even if you win. And there's some battles you must fight even if you lose. I don't know where this falls, but I'm more to the end of this is not a battle that I think I want to spend all my emotional capital on.
Are you saying you don't want to wake up angry and go to bed angry like I do?
You know what? Look, if you read all my hate mail, you'd assume I'm angry all the time.
Wow, you get some pretty entertaining hate mail.
It's very entertaining. But it's a misread of who I am. I like going to bed not angry, and I have to be very measured with what I am actually angry about, because I can always find something to be angry about. And there are some things that, you know what, I can get angry and I can protest and I can use this microphone, but it's not going to change a damn thing. And I have to choose between the two.
Well, the world is a target-rich environment lately, especially when it comes to things you could be angry about, isn't it?
Right.
And AI, though, I mean, we're just seeing the beginnings of this, and it's going to really harm a lot of people.
Yeah, harm a lot of people. I feel you, but
a lot of people out of work.
There's a lot of people that will be out of work, same as with all of the advancements in automotive and manufacturing and all of that. I was in Erie, Pennsylvania. The bars are full. The factories are not. And that was just a fact of life out there. And they had to adjust and say, you know what? Ice fishing it is. Guess what? Now global warming. Ice fishing hasn't really been that popular out there. They have to keep changing and adapting. But all those factories in Detroit, very few of them have reopened. What have people done? They've had to reinvent. Now there's tech cafes and all this happening where? In Detroit, where once it was automotive heaven.
Remember internet cafes? They were the coolest.
They were they were a thing. Now you have internet at the house. Internet cafe's gone. I'm just saying, like,
on your phone.
Like, we can scream into the dark until we are hoarse at the advancements of AI, but AI is just going, and it's going to keep on going. We have to find another way around this. We can't stop this. We can't stop this.
Well, regulations are one way around it. And I understand your point. I think it's a valid point, but there's a difference we could draw between, say, telling people, all right, boys, the whale oil industry isn't going to be around forever. You're going to have to find something else to do. And then something like, writing, acting, creative things that only humans can realistically do. And if AI does it, it's stealing from those people. I don't think that this is the kind of thing that we just lie back and say, well, it's going to happen one way or the other. I think we have to be vigilant about it, and there are ways to stop it from hurting as many people as it's going to if it were unimpeded. Because the people behind this always follow the money. It's the Watergate lesson. It's the all the president's men lesson.
Well, damn it, put on that cape and I will salute you as you fly off into the sky.
Cape and no pants. Deal.
Dun, 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 dun. It's Captain Runner.
There we go. Don't you mock me.
I would never do that. KFI AM 640 live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app.
How dare you?
We'll help you figure it out. It's kind of what we do.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.